Welcome back. All right, all of the other faders are in the jar. That's right, and you got to be careful with that. You don't leave them in too long. And also, too, bear in mind a warning for you if you are going to do this technique. The IPA can soften the carbon track inside the slider, making it susceptible to damage until it's had a chance to dry out. So this warning in from Kiwi Technics, who were watching this playlist, and I got the warning in from Murray saying, hey, listen, don't go crazy on those sliders until they've had a chance to reharden. If you must put them in IPA, then be careful that you don't go to town cranking the sliders around. Okay, so what have I done? I have chosen 2 prongs. You see there are 3 prongs. 1, 2, 3 on this. I have chosen the 2 for the bottom as part of my orientation to take this apart. And this piece here is just like the one inside the 4-position switch. It will fall out if you're not careful. So we'll take that, flip this over, take a look at the carbon track inside. There we go. Where is a Q-tip? Here's a Q-tip. Alright, and I will clean out the inside of that. And that was pretty dirty. Yep, definitely quite dirty. And once again, it's just the same old protocol I was using on the other. Here's the deoxit. Oh, that was a bit much. That's okay. This down over here. So you can't see it, but that's okay. And let's have a look inside the can at the slider head. Yep, looks pretty much the same. Pretty much the same as comparable inside the larger sliders. But important to note, they are not interchangeable. See, this is the larger slider here. Not interchangeable. So we're going to get a replacement slider head. It's going to be from another one of these faders and not from a larger fader. Okay. And when I pulled this out, the orientation was noted. The 3 fingers pointing down, and then 2 fingers on either side. And I'm just going to use deoxit to give this guy a little blast. As part of the cleaning technique that I'm going to use. And wouldn't you know it, lucky me, I found my missing foam tip swabs. So sooner or later they turn up. I guess I should have had one standing by, but I don't do a total ton of prep for this. If I did, I might clean up my desk. Okay, so here's a foam tip swab. And I'm just going to remove some of the trapped crap. Trapped crap. Okay, good work. And then we just have a look here inside this can, and we make sure that it too has been cleaned, and that no fluff gets left behind by the Q-tip. One of the problems with using a Q-tip is that it will leave fluff. And once again, I've got my white lithium grease here, and my handy dandy fine artist's paintbrush. And apply a little bit of lubrication to the inside of this can. Did I say it was painstaking work? I'm sorry. I'll stop saying that. But it is. It is painstaking. Okay, that's enough. Alright. A little bit of this over here, a little bit over here. Okay, and as I said, 3 fingers pointing down. Put that back in the can, like so. And then we take the bottom, and we said it was the 2 prongs on the bottom. Always important to know your keying. If you don't memorize your keying when you take it apart, you will put it together the wrong way, and then you will be unhappy later because it may not work at all. Okay, that's back together, and go down over here, zoom out a little bit. Hopefully that will improve our chances of getting a good lock on this. Whoops. Whoops. Remember that this piece of metal wants to get out. Okay. This is a little bit more high precision work than the larger faders elsewhere in the Juno-106, and that's for obvious reasons. They're smaller. Smaller faders means more precise work. I'm stating the obvious here, but that's only because I'm really having to concentrate. Okay. You got that? Jim Dandy. Okay, so that is one slider reconditioned. I got lithium grease on my cuff. Okay, one slider reconditioned. I'll put this over here. And here's its brother. So we're going to give that the same treatment. And the battery's running out, so I'm going to close the video down now and we'll come right back. And we are back on AC power, so there'll be no more battery running out. I'm going to proceed here to take apart this can, and then I'm going to proceed to take apart this one here, and we are going to see about finding a candidate replacement. Okay. Alright, now let's get old Broken Wonder apart. And assess what's going on inside. Well, the inside track looks pretty good. I'm going to get a fresh Q-tip over here. Yeah, it looks alright inside. On the bottom of it does. And the can looks good. But obviously this mechanism here actually looks pretty good too. And there's its there we go. Let's get that. There we are. See that? That's basically the copper and then nylon traces that ride on top. So what's wrong with this guy is that he's basically he was broken and lost his shaft. Now if I had just a shaft with a broken head, then I might consider actually transplanting that. This is actually not so broken that it couldn't be fixed with some glue, but obviously a better alternative would just be to replace the whole mechanism, assuming that we had one that had decent quality fingers, etc., etc. And, okay, let's have a look here. Before I take this out of the vise, I want to make sure I get it right. And you'll notice that it's a slightly wider distance on this side to this side for the tabs. So where the wider distance is on the left hand side and the narrower distance. So in other words, this guy here is closer to the bottom, which is kind of one of my keying tricks for the other sliders. So there's that. Now I'm just going to open up the jar of salvage sliders, and what I want to do is I want to find one that quite literally looks like hell, as opposed to one that looks nice, because I don't, it's probably all for the best that we get candidate brushes out of one that would otherwise be no good. Well, this one looks a little corrody. If I can find one of these guys who has a bad can, then that'll be the best candidate for cannibalizing the head. After sitting in the IPA for a bit, even the ones that look pretty awful before don't look too bad. Oh, all right, yeah, I think this is probably the candidate here. He's got a fairly bad run internally. Okay, just getting all of these out to have a look at them one by each. Anyway, they shouldn't have been in that IPA for too much longer anyhow. I only put them in there basically to attack any pathogens that may have existed inside. Okay, let me get this lid closed. Right. Okay, so I think it's going to be this one, because this one looks to be probably a bit, well, the case looks a bit corroded, so I'm gonna, and oh, it looks terrible on the inside. Well, let's open it up and just have a look and see just how awful it is. Look at it. Oh, that's just got, is this like caked on dirt? Sorry, Dave, for busting your bubble on this one, but rather than replace your part wholesale, I would like to at least retain a working slider for myself. So if we're going to use a slider head, boy, this thing's dirty. Well, nothing you couldn't clean. Well, let's just see. Let's just see. We'll find out. It's anyone's guess as to whether this thing is usable or not. I'm going to open it up and find out. like going into a horror show or a haunted house or something. Normally I feel like I'm doing operations, but this is more like an autopsy. Okay. Yeah, I could have been a doctor. I could have made money. Okay, let's get this can open. I could use a can opener for that. Whoa. Okay, look at... Okay, this is just a horror show. Look at that. This is a horror show. And if we were to look at that, oh my God. See that? That is complete rust. That is terrible. Alright, you know what? Okay, and oh, look at this. Ooh. Open this can. Rusty, rusty. And look, the fingers are completely shot to hell on this guy. But you know what this means? It means we have a donor. That's what it means. We've got a donor. That's right. We have a donor. Oh. Well, my friends, yeah, this is totally not salvageable as a complete head, but no. Oh yes. No. Oh yes. Here's my friend. Come here, you. Oh my God. Well, what I see here is I don't know if you're seeing what I'm doing here, but I am literally chewing this guy up. This was totally not a keeper. Not as far as a slider head with fingers, but if I can cannibalize this shaft, as you can see, this is part of the... This is basically how I brought back a 4-position slider switch one of these days, a while ago, and I know it works. Okay, I'm basically breaking all the plastic away in order to retrieve this piece. There. This piece. Now let's go back over to Dave's. It's perfectly good, as you can see, with the exception of the fact that it's missing this piece. So, because it was already broken open, just get these guys up like this, and now I'm going to take these covers and I'm going to put them over here, and let's have another look over here. Are you seeing this? Let's see if I can get this in. Obviously I want to get it in without breaking anything. It's going in. It is. Slowly, but surely. I think what I need to do is a little bit of careful vice action here. I'm going to shut the camera down and I'll be right back. Okay, I had some success here. It took a little bit of careful careful manipulation using a screwdriver on one side and the tabletop on the other, and I have to be really, really careful not to break it. But we now have the shaft from the one inserted into the body of the other. And all I got to do now is mix up a little bit of JB Weld and carefully apply it around here to reconstitute the body of the plastic. So I'm going to do that now. Be right back. Alright, this is the JB Weld system. It's basically a hardener and a basic body. And this is JB Weld steel, so it's extra strong. It's great for metal repairs and such. So this is the main body, the actual stuff, and this is the hardener. And so I basically squeezed just a teeny tiny amount of it over here. I've got the two of them on this little piece of cardboard. So it's a little piece of foam, so I'm hoping that there's not going to be an issue with a chemical reaction. Doesn't seem to be. Alright, so this is actually more than I needed, but you know, when you're dealing with tiny, tiny little amounts of this stuff, it's very hard to mix a good amount. And you really do want to get parity between the hardener and the body. And so the larger the amount that you start mixing from, the closer you are likely to get it. Alright. Alright. So, I'm just going to put this right here on the like that. And of course the main broken side is over here, so let me just turn this around so that you can see, or not see. Let me rotate it some more here and make sure that we get this absolutely on. And zoom in a bit. And hopefully the autofocus doesn't ruin our day. Okay, once again, it's good for you and not so good for me, but that's the nature of the beast. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up having to file down what we glue here to make it fit properly. So my main objective at this point is just to ensure that I get enough body in there. My vise almost let it go. Glad I caught that. This isn't just another one of those reasons why it's really a pain in the butt to try and do this stuff on camera. Let me see, where am I? I'm really gonna hope, okay. I'll do this up against, yeah, I'm just gonna have to hope that autofocus doesn't ruin our day. Alright. And you didn't see that because it's up on the top. There it is. So it can sit here and harden. And in the meantime, I'm going to get back to dealing with these other sliders and do what I can over there. And we'll be right back. Well, if you take a look over there, there is our FrankenFader basically sitting there curing. And I think what I'm going to do at this point actually is not use the FrankenFader at all. I'm going to zoom over here and come on back. I basically went and reconditioned all of the faders that I had in that lot. I was able to basically these are all bender block faders. I actually have 7 of them that I deemed good enough to recondition. This other one here is just as bad a shape as the one that we broke into pieces in order to get the FrankenFader shaft from. It's totally corroded inside. I'm just going to put it over here. But out of all of the ones that I've reconditioned from the pile, this one here seems the nicest and the smoothest. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to go into the Packrat Juno-106 bender block, because I really want to get back to this, and also too, I don't want to, you know, put a FrankenFader in when I could just simply give Dave a decent full-on replacement. So this is it right here. It's going to be the one that's associated with VR3. That's right, VR3, which is, yeah, it doesn't say on the board, but anyway, and I don't have the bender box for reference. So let's just solder these guys in and let's get back to it, shall we? All right, we'll be right back. And of course, the sound you hear is the smoke remover. And until such time as I get a all-in-one soldering tool, I'm going to be tack soldering using this technique, which isn't too bad, I guess. Whoops. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. And gets in the way. Autofocus fails to engage properly, and so on and so forth. Alright, now that I've got the tack solder in place, the rest of this is going to move a lot faster. There we go. Okay, that's that. Now we just gotta see if this actually works. Moving right along. And we're back over here by the cutting table, and basically I've got the reconstituted board with its rebuilt sliders in place, and I also did some deoxit into all of the knobs and switches. Now, basically, you know, I wanted to put the glue in order to put this neoprene down. So I'm going to do that now because I actually have the working slider board to test it. So here's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to reopen the glue here, and I'm going to apply just a little bit on the inside of the box, just like this. There's that ammonia smell again. Well, at the risk of getting ammonia fingers, I'm going to use my finger here. There was some guck on the edge of the nozzle, which ended up getting in there, and I didn't want that in there. Let's do this right now. Okay. Ammonia. Such a wonderful smell. Ah, yes. Okay. Alright. So there is the box with the adhesive in it. We are not leaving a lot to chance here. Just going in and making sure there's no undue globs near the edges. We don't want that happening. Okay, I'm going to put down, yeah. Okay, that's in there loosely. And then I'm going to put in the board, and the board will act as the registration. Put this like that. One-handed action going on. Okay. Sure everything lines up. Yeah, it's all lining up. So here we go. Okay, it looks to me like it's a little bit off to the left here. So I'm going to move that back out. Just gently nudge it with the old fingers. Okay, that's good. Just going to press down on the back side. So it's not quite not funny. No, it definitely lines up. Alright, well, it doesn't matter if it's not quite square on the inside. What counts is that it's properly lined up on the outside. Now I'll put this board back in for another test fit. And we should be good to go. Alright. Looks good. Yep, looks good all around. Okay, super. So there's the neoprene in the box. Nicely done. And I'm going to sink a couple of screws just to hold that in place during this procedure, and then we will, leave that to set.